We now come to the climax of the first day's competitions here at Crufts 2020. 2 groups to be judged this evening, providing 2 of the 7 finalists to compete for Best in Show Crufts 2020 here on Sunday evening. The first group to be judged this evening is the utility group, and it's my pleasure to introduce our group judge. He has a lifetime experience in exhibiting and breeding dogs and show administration, breeding his first Bulldog litter in 1979. He's approved to award challenge certificates in 30 breeds across 6 groups, including 18 utility breeds, and of course the utility group and Best in Show, and is judged at major shows all around the world. Please give a very warm welcome to Mr. Paul Harding, who's been escorted into the ring by Tom Mather, Chairman of Crufts Committee. Now it's your chance to welcome all the utility best of breeds into the ring. So please give a very warm welcome to the first of that utility group, the Akita.
So here they come, the utility best of breed winners for 2020. Paul Harding, our judge, standing in the centre of the ring there.
The Boston Terrier, smartest paint there.
The Canaan Dog. The Chow Chow. The Dalmatian. The Eurasier.
Fantastic competition, this. Over 3,000 utility dogs competing
Bulldog.
at Crufts today.
Big cheer for the French Bulldog.
Second most popular entry, 212
the
of them
Spitz
competing.
Klein. The German Spitz Mittel. The Japanese Akita Inu. The Japanese Shiba Inu.
Striking resemblance with these Japanese breeds.
The Japanese Spitz.
So smart and tidy, that gorgeous crisp white coat there, look at that.
The Keeshond. The Kooikerhondje. The Lhasa Apso.
Flowing coats, lovely high head carriage.
The miniature Schnauzer.
One of my favourite breeds, such lovely dogs to live with, miniature Schnauzers.
And a very smart one.
The miniature Poodle.
Quite at home here in the big ring.
The standard Poodle.
Full of confidence, these poodles, and you see the largest size, the standard
The
there.
toy Poodle.
And the little toy poodle who's convinced he's a standard poodle anyway.
The Schipperke. And now the Schnauzer.
The second of the 2 Schnauzer sizes.
The Shar Pei.
The Chinese, the inscrutable wrinkles of the forehead.
The Shih Tzu.
Shar Pei.
The Tibetan Spaniel.
Big round of applause for the first of our little Tibetan breeds.
And now the Tibetan Terrier. The Xoloitzcuintle. Mexican Hairless.
From the import register, they don't have the classes, it's for developing breeds.
And now hand
Beautiful
over to
mover.
Jonathan Daltrey and Kim Sillett-Wheel for the commentary of the group.
Thank you very much, Graham. It's an honour to be back here with Kim to be your commentators tonight for this fabulous utility group.
So
the
Paul
first
Harding
here at
going to
Crufts
take a look at his
2020.
Best of Breed
So
winners.
as our judge, Paul Harding, takes his first
The Bulldog
look at
Best
the
of Breed
utility
award was
group
not
finalists.
confirmed following the dog's
Let's take
veterinary
this
check, and
opportunity
therefore
to
the breed
explain
will
a little
not
bit more
be
about the
represented in the group
26
tonight.
breeds that we see before us.
See the judge just walking down, taking in the outline and balance. The utility breeds, they are breeds which once had a purpose. Now they're largely household companions. The two German Spitz, the larger size on the right, and one of the Japanese Akita Inu there.
Of course, a lot of these utility dogs have very exotic origins, come from all over the world. Japanese breeds, the Tibetan breeds.
Paul Harding, our judge, and his wife Maria have bred French Bulldogs and Bulldogs. They've also owned a champion Akita in their dog experience. Come from Warrington, Merseyside.
Tracking, retrieving game. They work the barges of Holland and herding stocks in the fields of China.
And the commentator's nightmare at the end there, the Xoloitzcuintle. What a name.
Yes, the Mexican breed.
Far too
yes.
many consonants.
Veterinary check, and therefore the breed will not be represented in the group tonight. So please put your hands together for the utility group Best of Breed winners.
So the first of our Best of Breed winners for 2020 in the utility group, the Akita, is a truly impressive dog. Large and powerful, yet agile. He was developed as a tracker and a hunter of boar, deer and even bears as well in his home, as well as being a home guard in ancient feudal Japan. Prized for his substance and those wonderful bright colours.
He was originally bred in the province of Akita in the 1600s. Some believe the dogs were originally bred for hunting.
Now, I've had the pleasure of judging the Akitas today, and this young bitch, only 16 months of age, coming from Spain, topped the lot. Beautiful breed type in these bright colours, a plush coat, lovely little neat ears, and his strong skull, very alert.
Classic Spitz type with that wedge head and the tail curled over. They're very dignified, courageous dogs, aren't they?
Good guard dogs, as you say, they were taken to America. This is a breed that was developed in America. It called the Akita. It comes from the Japanese Akita, but then they developed them on stronger lines. We'll see the original breed later in this group. Sometimes known as the Great Japanese Dog in America or the American Akita.
Any colours acceptable in that wonderful coat except merle. Most important thing is that it's brilliant and clear.
He chose number 156, and this is the male, as the Best of Breed winner.
And the Boston Terrier now on the table. It's the smallest of the bull breeds, which means it's got Bulldog in its origins. Developed, as its name suggests, in Boston, in America, and at one stage you had to live in Boston to be a member of the Boston Terrier Club. It's a breed which is known for its touch of elegance, its short face, large ears, and dark eyes.
Crosses was called the Roundhead, and sometimes the Boston Bull. After dog fighting with
Well, owner Loretta Dolan and handler Margaret Noble have come all the way from New Jersey in the USA to compete here at Crufts. This is Prince, 6 years old.
And he's a top winner in America. He's won the breed clubs of America and Canada, which means he's got a real hot dog in the States. And he's come all the way here to win Best of Breed today under Rob Sansom. So they have to have a degree of elegance with substance, neat ears and a fairly large dark eye.
and separate breed classes.
Described as lively, intelligent, strong-willed little dogs. That lovely smooth coat on a compact body. Short-faced but without exaggeration.
And we've got Boston markings, the brindle body coat and a white collar, white feet and a white markings on the head. These are what's called typical Boston markings.
So we now move on to the Canaan Dog. Judged by Zena Thorne-Andrews.
This is Asta, a Canaan dog. They have their roots as in the aboriginal dog of the Indian subcontinent, the pariah dog they were called, thought to be the progenitor even of the Australian dingo, the national dog of Israel, where his agility and extreme intelligence are very much highly prized.
This breed was selectively bred
Any colour except merle, and we see this has to be a weatherproof coat. They had to live out in the extremes of climate and rather watchful temperament. They still retain a certain feral element to them. They're a bit watchful, cautious with strangers, but they should be built to survive in hard conditions. They have been used by the Red Cross in the Israeli army.
Wedge-shaped head, and you can see the square outline there on the move, a brush of a tail.
Although loyal and affectionate to their family, they're highly territorial.
And this is a nice temperament. It's done a lot of winning in the breed and come and collected best of breed today.
That's the best of breed winning Canaan Dog.
And now
The
next
Canaan Dog.
Hardy to look at is the Chow Chow. The breed was judged today by Mrs. Chris Trendle. There was an entry of 90 chows, and Chris selected this bitch number 5.
And a very nice picture of the Chow there, this ancient breed of China, where it's known as the Han Dog after the ruling dynasty, and it was kept originally for hunting. In early China, sadly, it was used as an important food source when things were hard, and also for clothing from the skin and coat.
Throughout their long history, however, chows have had numerous jobs, including guarding, hauling, and hunting.
This is a dog with real substance, isn't it, Frank? That broad, flat skull, broad muzzle, wonderful dark oval eyes with such a gorgeous expression.
And wonderful strong bone and compact feet and neat little ears rounded at the tips, and when they're brought forward it gives it the Chow typical scowl of expression. Striding out nicely. The action of the Chow is rather unique. It's a rather stilted action. His rear legs not taking big strides, but with a sort of pedaling, biking action. Lovely coat, lots of substance underneath it, and this tail carried high over the back.
They're a very affectionate breed, very devoted and loyal to their family, but again indifferent to strangers.
The breeders have worked hard to free the breed of exaggerations of too much loose skin, and very clean eyes and expression, very important in the breed.
It's a lovely example of the breed.
Coming back to the judge, that's the best of breed, Chow Chow number 542.
A dog that absolutely everybody can recognise, the distinctive spotted dog whose ancestor was probably the Talbot hound of the late 18th century, bred to accompany carriages as a guard and to look after their passengers. Athletic the Dalmatian is, that wonderful spotted coat, so characteristic.
Very popular breed since Regency times. Then it was known as the carriage dog.
There's a degree of elegance in the Dalmatian. They were prized by the gentry, and they used to trot alongside the handsome carriages. So the decorative spotting was a prized feature. This one is a black spotted. They also come in liver spotted. And look at the happy lashing tail.
That outgoing, friendly nature is so important in this breed.
And after a day of running alongside the carriage, used to guard the stables and the horses at night. So a multi-purpose breed.
Yes, and you need to pay attention. They never run out of energy.
And now we see a fairly recent addition to the utility group in recent years, the Eurasier. They were judged today by Mr. Mark Kokoza.
And our judge now looking at the Eurasier, a relatively modern breed developed in Germany by Julius Whipfel, who decided he'd like to try crossing a Chow Chow with a German Spitz. And there's a little bit of Samoyed blood there, so it's a typical Spitzian outline. Wedge-shaped head and the sharply pricked ears. We see traces of both his parents in the shape of the dog.
The breeds resulted in what was first called the Wolf Chow, and then 12 years later, after bringing a Samoyed into the mix, was renamed the Eurasier.
They have a lovely balance to them, the Eurasier. You'll see this on the move.
A little lighter than the Chow, but we see the German Spitz characteristics in the wedge-shaped head. Absolutely unexaggerated, in a weatherproof coat and that tail carried over the back. Lovely proportions and balance. It just looks right to the eye.
Neat and precise in every step. They come in all colours or combinations of colours.
Alert and intelligent, playful and sweet-natured.
And putting on a very nice performance. It's a beautiful moving dog. You can just see the cleanness of its action, good top line.
Harsh top coat, thick, softer undercoat that weatherproofs them.
With their family. That was the Best of Breed Eurasier, number 767.
On the table now we see
Heart
the French
utterly
Bulldog.
melted. This is the French Bulldog, the clown of the utility group. Sturdy, compact, the Frenchie should be, a small person, bat-eared, short-tailed, full of character and as affectionate as it's possible for a dog to be. They actually originated here in the UK, but they were taken to France by lace makers and developed there.
These were crossed with small Spanish fighting dogs that have made their way to Paris. And voila, the French Bulldog.
An amazing success story for the French Bulldog, because in 2018 they overtook the Labrador and the Golden Retriever, which had topped the registrations for years. Now that's not always a good thing. There's lots of unscrupulous breeders about. But however, the French Bulldog has endeared himself for his wonderful personality and character.
They are the most fantastic dogs to live with, I speak from experience. This one, a brindle. They also come in fawn or pied, solid and sturdy, compact little person.
And reputable breeders have done a lot of work in improving the health of the breed, getting big nostrils for the airways, freedom from exaggeration. You see a slight rise over the top line without exaggeration, and clean action. This one really striding out. Top winner in the breed last year, so he's carried on his success here.
The French Bulldog.
And now we come to the first of our German Spitz varieties. This is the German Spitz Klein.
And now the first of the German Spitz on the table, the smaller version, the Klein. This is the ancestor of the Pomeranian. Two varieties. This one has to be up to 11 inches high. First came into the UK in Victorian times, and the Queen Charlotte in the 18th century in Germany favoured them, and the Queen Victoria showed them in London at the first Crufts.
And the smaller size, the Klein, that we see here. They share the same breed standard, and they're only divided by their size.
Typical Spitz, with those little prick ears, the wedge head, tail flicked over the back, but with the most gorgeous diminutive size, thick coat, double soft undercoat, slightly harsher top coat with that abundant neck ruft.
And coming from a very successful kennel from Middlesbrough, from Gary Pearce and Dale Francis here. They've won the group at Crufts originally, and this carries on their very good breeding line, full of life. That brisk action, which is a characteristic of the breed. They're very collectible. If you have one, you'll want more. They're wonderful characters.
They make great family pets. That's the German Spitz Klein, Best of Breed winner 1033.
So from Klein,
so here we have the larger of the German Spitz, the Mittel, this one up to 38 centimetres at the shoulder. Pigment to be matching the coat, so this one's a fantastic black, and we want black eye rims, dark eyes and a black nose. Wedge head, ears laid back there, just paying attention to what the judge is doing at my rear end. And then as soon as, there we go, ears start to work, and ears will prick forwards in just a second. They're square and substantial, the Spitz.
watchful demeanour of these intelligent, alert and active little dogs and is led to their being highly valued on farms.
They share the same standard as the Klein, which we've just seen, just allowing a bit more size to it, up to 14 inches for the Mittel. And they will have been measured in the ring by the judge.
And Spitz type dogs are associated
Level
with
back on the
hunter-gatherers
move
from as far back
with
as
the
Stone
ruff
Age.
round the neck matching the
Examples virtually
plume of a
identical
tail
to
over the
modern
back for
versions of the
balance.
Mittel can be seen as far back as the 18th century and work as
Brisk
far
and
as the
sound on the
80s.
move.
They have to have good length of leg. They shouldn't be low to
German
ground.
Spitz
They're
Mittel.
much sturdier than the toy breeds, the
Ladies and
Pomeranian,
gentlemen,
for which
a
they're the
gentle reminder,
ancestors.
following government guidelines, please make sure that you use the hand sanitizers dotted around the show and wash your hands for 20 seconds in hot soapy water. Just be safe rather than sorry.
And the next
Now
dog
the
for
Akita
Harding to judge
Inu,
is the Japanese
which was the
Akita Inu.
original
They were judged today
Japanese
by
Akita.
And from an entry of 34,
The
best
word
breed
Akita
was
Inu
dog
means large
number
dog, and this is probably closer to the
1113.
type of the dog bred in ancient Japan than the
Pre-World War
Akita
II, for
which we
almost
saw
2,000
earlier.
years since its first appearance, the Akita was known only in Japan.
Beautiful plush coat. It was a hunting
Akita
dog.
exports were strictly forbidden as they were considered
Used-
to be Japan's national dog and the symbol of the imperial family. Despite their absence outside of Japan,
Now
their
this, as we see, is
reputation
lighter
spread
than the
throughout world
Akita.
in the 1920s.
They were actually separated as recently as 2006, weren't they? And markings are terribly important. It isn't just the structure and the lighter frame of this dog, but it's got markings called
The Eurasier
markings, where that's the amount of the beautiful bright colour as opposed to the white, and it's very important that they fall in exactly the right place. Oh dear, we are falling in exactly the right place.
No respect for decorum in the big ring. When a dog's got to go, he's got to go. That's very embarrassing for the handler, I'm sure.
It's a long day, we can forgive them.
Paul Harding
Going back to Harchico,
saying, please treat us a
he
roundabout.
remained at the train station at 3 p.m.
So that
every day. waiting
there's a
his
degree of
turn.
elegance
Kept
in them, in the
doing so
carriage of the
until he
neck,
passed away
the
a
sharply
decade later.
pricked ears,
After World War
the
II,
strong tail
American
carried over
troops
the back.
occupied
These
Japan
are all
and
breed
brought first
features.
Akita dogs to the United
A
States.
very good moving dog, this.
And this particular one come all the way from Moscow to compete.
Akita Inu, number 1113.
Paul now turns his attention to the Japanese Shiba Inu, judged today by Rodney Oldham with an entry of 91. Here, this is another male, number 1183.
Now another of Japan's ancient breeds. This is the Japanese Shiba Inu. It translates as small dog. Swift and agile, he was used to hunt small game, whilst his fierce intelligence and clean nature also made him ideally suited as a house dog. Clearly Spitz in type with that foxy head and the curled tail. This one a beautiful, brilliant red.
And develop their own breed-specific types. However, after the First World War, the population was dangerously low, and in 1928, a survival program.
And the same importance for colour and markings in the Japanese Shiba Inu. The white markings on the lower legs,
1937, the Shiba
the
was declared
bright
a
red
national
coat,
monument
harsh in
of
texture
Japan.
with a plushness to it with the undercoat, and a beautiful foxy expression.
Slightly longer than tall in outline, and look at those little feet. They're described as cat-like.
This is another Spitz breed.
And
characterised
this one
by
is actually an
Euro
import
markings,
from
and it's
Japan.
quick, light,
Very
smooth.
successful.
Light, quick and energetic on the move.
Second time he's been best of breed at Crufts. He won here last year as well.
Inside of the legs. That's the Japanese Shiba Inu.
That's another reminder about washing your hands. The gel has been used in between judging each of these dogs.
And another Japanese breed, which is a little bit different. It's all white, and it comes from the ancestry of the Samoyed and the German Spitz.
Rodney Oldham judged an entry of
It was thought that it was
83.
taken to Japan in the early 20th century and recognised by the Japanese Kennel Club relatively recently in 1948.
Standoff brilliant white coat. This contrasts with its black pads and nails, the black nose, and the dark eyes.
And that standoffish, pure white coat is soft to the touch with a dense, warm undercoat. And characteristic of this breed is the contrast in that lovely black pigment, both lips, eye rims, dark eyes and a black nose.
That breed was originally taken to America from Central Europe, having been developed from the white Spitz or Pomeranian.
Tail carried up over his back.
And again, a very brisk stride. Sharpness in the carriage of the dog.
There were a few white Spitz type dogs in Japan.
Lively and intelligent, the Japanese Spitz, bold little dogs. Small triangle prick ears working away under the coat there.
And I think he's just feeling the ground. He's not going quite as easily as some of the other dogs here. Lovely quality in that wedge-shaped head and the dark eyes.
Should be light and nimble on his feet.
But he's just not getting into his stride here, which is a shame.
Best of breed winning Japanese Spitz number 1290.
Robin Newhouse was the judge of the Keeshonds. Robin had an entry of 82, and he sent us this male, number 1364.
Legend has it that the original Keeshond was a ship's guard on a vessel that was wrecked on the spot where eventually Amsterdam was founded. And in fact, if you examine the Great Seal of Amsterdam, there is indeed a little Keeshond face peering over the gunwales of the ship. Developed in popularity during the 1700s, where he was used as a barge guard.
Formed in 1925. The following year, 1926, saw the name changed to Keeshond.
This looks a very impressive picture. It's got a lovely compact outline, the lovely sharp ears. Shades of grey is what the standards ask for. This dog is a lovely colour. Harness markings over its shoulder there, which are a key point in the breed.
And that lovely black mask on his wedge-shaped Spitz head, absolutely super.
And this one's come all the way from Italy to win Best of Breed here, and it's very impressive. Judge, just looking at the expression and the use of the ears, the Keeshond has spectacle markings. That's a line from the outside of the eye to the ear. We call them spectacle markings.
Brisk and sharp on the move, very precise. This one putting on a really good performance. Let's have a little skip for a bit. The Keeshond.
For Mr. Harding to judge is the Kooikerhondje. They joined the ranks of the utility group for its 6th year. He transferred from the Gun
And now the Kooikerhondje, another Dutch breed, and it used to be in the gun dog group, but it is used as a decoy for hunting ducks in its native Holland, and it used to lure ducks down the canals into the nets, and then the sportsman finished it off.
These keen little dogs with their waving white plumed tails, they were used to lure and drive ducks into the kuin, or the cages, with traps at the end where the hunter, the so-called
It was also said to have been used as a rat, a mouse and a mole hunter, which conjures up most wonderful images of dogs sitting over molehills waiting for them to poke their little noses out. Very effective home guard, this, and characterised by that wonderful red to deep chestnut coat and patches on a lovely white background.
It's thought that the orange colour is very typical because orange is the colour of the House of Orange, and this is one of the native breeds and the national breeds of Holland. The dark earrings on its ears are another breed feature.
As is the feathering. They've always got feathering on their ears, their undercarriage, nice pair of trousers and that wonderful plume of a tail.
And they were taken out of the gun dog group because the owner says they don't like the noise of guns. So not a typical gun dog, it's now in the utility group.
That's 1413, the Kooikerhondje.
A breed specialist Sally Poynton judged 140 Lhasas today. She chose.
This is Erica, who's come all the way from Croatia to compete here at Crufts. A bringer of good fortune, the Lhasa Apso originates in the Tibetan mountains, where it was kept both in monasteries and in noble houses and revered as a guard and a companion of the highest regard. Under that straight, heavy coat is a really sturdy, well-balanced little dog.
Household sentinel guarding the homes of Tibetan nobility and Buddhist monasteries. It was also considered a good luck charm.
It's
Very tough competition here in the breed today, and this one came out best, and it's a very impressive outline. Good length of neck, a very nice level top line, the tail arched over the back. Correct Tibetan expression.
with the hair intended, it's supposed to be falling over the eyes, but not so as to stop the dog from actually seeing where it's going. This one a beautiful example of how to do that with style.
And although they look glamorous, they have to be hardy underneath that coat, enough to live in the hard climate and conditions of Tibet.
Its popularity increased dramatically and a breed club was established 4 years later in 1933.
This has really taken the eye.
The meaning of Apso
Moving beautifully.
It's simply a corruption of the Tibetan Rapso, meaning goat like. The long hair of the Lhasa gives it the appearance of a small Tibetan goat. The Lhasa Apso.
And now we see on the table the miniature Schnauzer.
The short and compact miniature Schnauzer, the smallest of the Schnauzer family. We call this colour pepper and salt, this crisp wire coat, banded in colour. The word Schnauzer means harsh beard, and this one certainly has one.
In the 19th century, when it was first seen in the show rings in 1899. Some say that the African Pinscher...
This is a really quality dog, come all the way from Norway to compete. You can just see the crisp, wiry harshness of that coat that is stripped to perfection, not cut. That body coat is hand stripped carefully and then trimmed closer elsewhere on the body. That head so characteristic of the breed with its beard and moustaches and the wonderful old gentleman eyebrows.
And they must have some substance to them. They must be not terrier-like. They have to have good chest, good ribs. They're very sturdy, and they were used to keep down vermin, to work around the farm. So they're really utilitarian dogs, and very smart. This one, clean in the outline, excellent movement, and this high set tail, nicely carried. This is going to press hard, I would think. It looks really good.
Now we see the first of our 3 poodle varieties, and this is the miniature poodle.
Now here we have the first of the 3 poodle sizes. This, a black miniature poodle. Frankie, famous throughout the dog world in the UK as a really big winner for Melanie Harwood. 3 sizes of poodle, of course. This one, the middle, deep-chested, short-backed the poodle. Proud, elegant dogs with a joyous temperament.
The origin of the breed is still discussed, with a prominent dispute over whether the poodle descends from Germany as a type of water dog or from the French barbet.
You can always rely on a poodle to put on a good show. They're very showy dogs, very elegant in their carriage and full of confidence. We see this long chiseled head there, long neck, and running down to neat feet.
And of course they have wonderful endurance poodles too, don't they? Frankie himself was best in show here at Crufts in 2017 and has continued his winning ways since and is still owning the ring.
He has been Dog of the Year in England and he's had a great career. This short back, length of neck giving him elegance.
And of course, that clip originally had purpose when these were used as water dogs and required a certain amount of clipping to make them buoyant, but needed hair over important vital organs to keep them warm.
So it's a functional clip.
Beautiful strides there, the miniature poodle.
That was the miniature poodle.
Now we see the largest of the 3 sizes, the standard poodle. Judged today by breed specialist Barry.
And here is the largest of the poodles, the standard poodle, from which the others were bred down. They're known as the caniche on the continent, and caniche means duck dog, and that's exactly what they were bred to do. They used to retrieve ducks, they were keen water dogs, and as Jessica said, the pom-poms over the hip bones to protect them, the pom-poms over the hocks to protect the joints, and at the end of the tail. And this...
Well, Although today's poodles seem to epitomise the life of leisure and luxury, make no mistake, these are real dogs bred to
Now
do
this is
real
Buzz,
jobs.
another black
Although
poodle.
it hardly seems
Standard, of
possible
course,
when
this
you look
time
at the
come
glamorous
from
exhibit in
Sweden to
showroom,
compete
the
here
breed
at
was
Crufts.
originally a water retriever.
A
dog
big
that
winner
requires jumping
in
in the water
America
to fetch
and on the
ladybirds
continent.
or
He was my
rabbits.
best in show winner in
The
Norway
origins of
last
the
year,
traditional
so
poodle
I rate
genes
this dog highly.
reflect the
He's got
job
the most
he had
wonderful
to do
feet
whilst
and this
working.
elegance on the move.
In this continental trim, you'll see
And
there are
movement
pom-poms that are
absolutely
there to protect the
essential with a
joints before
poodle. They
water,
must be
because
able
even
to
known
impress
protect
on the
main
move.
body.
Profuse coat, of course, sculpted here,
Poodles do indeed
non-shedding.
love water, and they love
And
nothing
this
more than a
carriage
good
of
run over
elegance.
fields. I share my life with poodles,
High
and you
set
have to be
tail,
no stranger to
owning
a
the
brush
ring.
when you own one. That's the best of breed standard poodle, number 1870.
So the last of the three poodles is on the table now. And the toy poodle.
And here's
today
the
judged
smallest
go
of the
for.
poodles. This one's come from Norway.
This is a male,
Proud
number
and elegant. Judge looking at the dentition there to make sure that everything's correct. And that wonderful poodle expression. Alert, intelligent, always aware of everything going on around them. They're very much the boss dog.
Including his mind, he's a standard poodle at heart. It's a charming breed to live with, and again can be trimmed to suit the
All of the poodles share the same standard. It's just a matter of size. And one of the big challenges for the breeders is to get the same quality in the scale down into the smaller size. And this is the smaller size, 11 inches maximum. They will have been measured in the ring at some shows. So to get the same quality and refinement in the head in a smaller dog is a challenge. But again, it's got the great confidence, the wagging tail, very assured in its performance.
Oh, they're wonderful. They're so outgoing. They've got such fantastic nature and so intelligent. You can do so much with a poodle. If you want a dog for doing anything, events-wise, agility or obedience or anything, they're smart little creatures.
Highly intelligent,
The last of the
so
poodles,
stepping out stylishly.
the toy poodle.
Next on the table, we see the Schipperke. They were judged today by Mrs. Zenith
Now,
Andrews.
there is the Schipperke, this little Belgian barge dog. It was kept as a vermin dog on the barges. The word Schipperke translates as little skipper, so his place is on the barge with the boatman.
Club, being formed in 1890. A northern club following on in 1905. These originated
Cece has come from Kildare in Ireland to compete today. That foxy face, perhaps a little broader in the skull than some of the Spitz breeds, but still very much a typical Spitz with the prick ears and that tail curled over the back.
And they have a unique coat pattern, as a sort of mane of hair over the shoulders and culottes on the back legs. And it's said that when they're going round, they look like little caped highwaymen. That was the description once used to me. So, but they should be chunky, short, and full of activity.
That was the best of breed Schipperke, number 2128.
Stephen Bardwell judged an entry of 71.
Now we saw the miniature Schnauzer. Here's the Schnauzer, the middle size of the three different breeds. The giant Schnauzer, of course, the largest. The dog should give the impression of immense strength, even though it's in a medium-sized form. A very balanced package, vigorous and capable of great endurance. The Schnauzer was originally a drover's dog, a stock tender, a guard, and, of course, a great companion too. All Schnauzers are.
Known for chasing vermin, for droving and guarding, even known to pull a cart to market too.
This is the middle size of Schnauzer. We've seen the miniature earlier. In the working group later in the week, we'll see the giant Schnauzer, but they all share the same characteristics of square bodies, sturdiness, the whiskered snout and the clean, strong foreface, and a crisp wire coat. This one again, a pepper and salt, these banded shades of grey which make up the pepper and salt coat.
Features emphasised by a prominent nose,
Nice and balanced on the move. We should see direct parallel movement. Top line maintained as the dog powers round the ring. We want strength and substance here.
And the next dog for Paul Harding to judge is the Shar Pei.
And there is the Shar Pei, another Chinese breed, and he shares some of his ancestry with the Chow Chow. And 2,000 years ago, he was brought up by the Han Dynasty and used for hunting and fighting. The word Shar Pei translates as harsh, sandy coat. It's a very bristly coat, a single coat.
Guarding the home and family. They've proven themselves to be quite hardy little hunters too, of wild game, usually wild pigs.
Square in outline, this dog should be deep-chested with a slightly dipping top line. And of course, wrinkle in the skin can be associated with health problems, and therefore it's absolutely essential that in a breed like this that requires that there is wrinkle, it should be unexaggerated.
Fine wrinkles on the skull and these little hard triangular ears, and the top line rises towards the rear and the tail very important. The breeders of Shar Pei in this country have done great things. When they first came to the country, they were overdone in wrinkle and loose skin. They've worked hard to eradicate those exaggerations.
Another breed with Chinese and Tibetan history is the Shih Tzu. Judged today by Gilks.
Like the Lhasa Apso, the Shih Tzu hails from Tibet, but he's a much heavier dog, sturdy, active and friendly, characterised by the hair on his face growing in a chrysanthemum pattern. This breed has large, dark, round eyes with such a warm expression, very much valued in the breed.
The breed was a great favourite of Chinese royalty, and so very prized that the Chinese refused to sell.
A sturdy body under that coat, this wonderful rounded skull, dark eyes, solid bone, and very important is the tail carried high over the back.
They're quite long in the back, but it's essential that that's kept level, and they have short, powerful little legs that can absolutely power them round the ring.
Yes,
it might be a small dog, but by no means without substance.
Sturdy, broad chest.
And that plumed tail carried over the back to balance the head.
Now, as he powers around, he should show a clean pair of hocks as he goes away from the judge, showing he's got good rear drive. Again, holding that top line nicely, full of quality, a big winner already, and going well tonight.
That's the best of breed winning Shih Tzu.
And now we see on the table the Tibetan Spaniel.
Now on the table, the smallest of the Tibetan breeds, the Tibetan Spaniel. And it's thought that this was favoured by Tibetan monks as companions and often lived alongside the Lhasa Apsos in the monasteries. So valued so highly that you could never buy a Tibetan Spaniel. They were only given to honoured friends.
Their alarm barking, matched by their keen eyes and their ability to see great distances. They earned their keep.
Small, neat, feathered little feet described as hare feet.
As many Tibetans kept a small
Quite a small head.
and trained it to turn
But a cushioned muzzle, lovely light, neat ears with just a slight lift away from them, and again the rectangular body, but they should have some daylight underneath them. You should be able to, a decent length of leg, slightly bowed in the front, only slightly from the Pekingese ancestry which it contains, and a very nice tail carriage. Full of activity, this one.
Came to the United Kingdom around about 1900 and hugely prized and valued for their lovely temperaments. The Tibetan Spaniel.
The Tibetan Terrier, one of the three breeds in the group over the 200 entry mark.
Now, the last of our best of breed winners in the utility group, this is the Tibetan Terrier. A bit of a misnomer, as the breed was originally a herd and a guard, not so much a ratter and a hunter. Important that this dog is square in outline, sturdy, of medium size, lively, and above all should be good-natured.
They travelled across the Himalayas. Thought to be the holy dog of Tibet, his boundless energy and outgoing personality mean that he loves
They are a very hardy breed, squarely built and solid under that coat. Big feet for the terrain in which they worked. They were often used as guard dogs by merchants on the Tibet-China crossing. Interesting long history of the breed. When they came to this country, they came with missionaries who've been working in Tibet. They've become very popular in the show ring, now much more glamorized with more coat, but they still have to retain this fitness for function.
And this one's called Jazar, 2 years old, and has come all the way from Norway.
The breed's great devotion and loyalty make them excellent companions.
The Tibetan Terrier.
Best of breed winning Tibetan
Nice
Terrier.
level top line as he's powering round the ring there.
And our final utility winner comes from the import register, where there was an entry of 41. And Ingram was in charge of the import register.
And now from the import register, the Xoloitzcuintle. This is a Mexican breed that came in 3 sizes and were used as hunting dogs. They were also thought to be therapy dogs and good for people with asthma and rheumatism. And their bare skin is hot to the touch, and they were used as bed warmers for the ladies. A useful dog.
Safeguard their homes and families from evil spirits and intruders. They were often buried with their masters to guide the soul.
Graceful outline there, standing judge taking a good look. This is Zazil. They've come from Poland, just 18 months old. And the imported register breeds are breeds that are still gaining a foothold here in the UK. And so they're judged separately until their numbers and the quality in their numbers have built up sufficiently.
And although this is hairless, they do come in a coated variety.
Not completely hairless. That's a very good little Mohican he's got going on
yes,
there.
a few bristly hairs on the skull, yes.
And I love the way these dogs use their ears. He's listening to the audience, listening to his owner, ears working the whole time.
It's
the 26 winners. So Judge Paul Harding will take another.
So we've seen all of our utility group best of breed winners, and our judge Paul Harding is going to take a final look. Who's he going to pick for our first group winner?
There were a very close number to last year in this exciting group competition. Total of 2,862 dogs judged here in today's utility group, making over 3,000 entries. That's just over 14% of the total entry at Crufts this year.
Now the judge looking round the best of breed winners, reminding himself of what he found on hands-on examination. Now at the start of the day, there were 26 breed rings containing 3,000 dogs. We're now down to the last 26. All of them hoping to catch the judge's eye and win this utility group and come back on Sunday to compete for best in show.
And of course what our judge is doing at this stage is comparing each to his breed standard to look for those that are absolutely outstanding examples of their breed.
This superb group down to a short list.
So now who's he going to pick for his short list?
And the first one out is
The Boston Terrier from
followed by the
America, and the
the
Dalmatian,
French Bulldog and the German
French
Spitz.
Bulldog, and the smaller of the German Spitz comes forward, and the Shiba Inu.
The miniature poodle.
He's got a quality group here.
Both the miniature and the standard poodle have called forward,
Paul's shortlist, so congratulations to
and the
those
Shih Tzu.
other
And there's our
category
shortlist
winners
for the
who
utility
made
group.
the ring.
So congratulating the others as they leave the ring.
Paul is going to want to see them move one more time, and this is your
Now,
chance.
I think we'll probably see them out and back, just checking on the movement. This late stage, it's every detail counts.
So here's the lovely little Boston Terrier moving again.
Top winner in America and Canada.
Those classic markings.
A degree of elegance with substance.
Rob Sampson sent the Boston
And
Terrier through. And this
sending
is
them
dog
round the
number
ring,
1,
looking at the top
5,
line, the correct
6.
top line of the breed. Slight fall away to the tail.
Using his ears.
What we see is the
This is
Dalmatian.
Prince, all the way from New Jersey in America. And here we have the Dalmatian, the second of our finalists, Zorro.
And coming from Scotland, this one, the elegant, active Dalmatian. The spotting well spaced out on a clear white background. He's just looking a little bit not quite as confident as he was in the earlier competition.
And of course, athleticism so important in that breed. Now we have the divine little French Bulldog, champion Chelmbull, the aviator Morgan, 3 years old, a top winner in the breed. This one a brindle. Again, a breed where we want no exaggeration. We just want the breed standard fulfilled with those beautiful lines.
And you see him covering the ground in this ring. No sign of any panting or distress, which is how this should be.
He's had all his BOAS testing, all his brachycephalic airway syndrome testing, and is passed clear of everything.
And here is the Klein, the German Spitz. Again, full of confidence.
This is B, 5 years old, from Middlesbrough. Gary Pearson, Dale Francis.
Their dogs always show well, always turned out in wonderful condition, and great show dogs.
This is the best of breed German Spitz Klein, number 1033.
And here is the Japanese Shiba Inu, Kaga no Shuchi Gosaparo Kagazu Vormund. That's a real mouthful, but it comes from Liz Dunhill's kennel in Nottinghamshire.
This is another male.
I love the description of this dog. She says simply, he is a samurai.
A real warrior dog, and really athletic gait.
Always a
ground
contender,
well.
the Shiba Inu, aren't they, at top level? They're such smart little dogs.
And off to go is the miniature poodle.
Now, big winning Frankie. Nothing to prove, this dog. Reserve best in show here in 2017. A top winner for many years for Melanie Harwood.
Melanie, the third generation of poodle breeders, her mother and grandmother before her, are all also involved in the breed.
Still looking on top form.
And here's this lovely Canadian-bred standard poodle, Darwin All the Buzz. Big best in show win in Scandinavia, and come here to win the hotly contested breed today.
And it is always savage competition at Crufts amongst the poodles, because they are such striking dogs, so popular as show dogs. Extending that movement.
And something quite different, the solid and chunky Shih Tzu with his sturdy bone, Tamaron Miss Black Opium. Helen Howard handling this. She and her mother have been very successful in the breed. This one a black and white with the most beautiful head and large dark eyes. The tail carried over the back. For short legs, it's covering a lot of ground with great ease.
So that's the last of our finalists, the Shih Tzu. There's the shortlist.
Well, he's got a hard choice here because some very good dogs here. 8 very nice dogs.
It's exciting. Our first group winner. Melanie Harwood takes it with Frankie the miniature poodle, winning the group again here at Crufts. What a fantastic achievement.
He's had a great career, and the standard poodle is in second place. A beautiful dog. For third place, it's the Japanese Shiba Inu.
Beautiful little Shiba taking group 3, and the lovely brindle Frenchie takes group 4.
Now, it's a great win for the breed coming out at Crufts.
And he looks so happy about it. But we have our first group winner in the utility group.
Sent through to the group by Penny Jones.
It also gives me great pleasure to ask the presentation to be made by Betty Fletcher, please.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the winner, the miniature poodle. Any of you that are followers of Crufts know that Melanie, Frankie has been here quite a few times before. Tell us a little bit about Frankie.
Well, the first year was 2017, and he won the breed, he won the group, and he won Reserve Best in Show that year. He won the breed and Group 3, I think, the following year. He's won the Eukanuba Champion States Grand Finals here, and he's back here again this year, having won the group, and I don't even know why I'm crying. It's such an emotional feeling, and I feel proud to do it for my mum and my grandma.
And they're behind the scenes, aren't they?
They are. Grandma's at home because she's not really able enough to come to the shows anymore, but I know my mum will be backstage blubbing like a baby.
Well, Frankie looks like he could do this all night. We wish you the best of luck for Sunday night's Best in Show. Congratulations, Melanie and Frankie, the first group winner for Crufts 2020.
And a big round of applause for our judge, Paul Harding.
And a very nice tribute to her mother and grandmother from Melanie, who's a little overcome with winning. They're from Lancashire, but great success with their poodles. And Frankie himself, their biggest winner, I think, in the history of their kennels. A wonderful dog.
Lovely, relaxed, standard poodle standing there in second place, but it's fantastic to have our first group winner, and our first group winner a real contender.